Hey guys, welcome back to Without a Candle. I'm Carly.
Oh, sorry, Carla. Yeah, we're here on a Tuesday. Oh, sorry, we're here on a Monday, which is why it really does feel like a Monday.
Yeah.
So even though I took a down day for some self-care yesterday.
Ooh, what does self-care look like?
So yesterday I took myself on a field trip to Jungle Gyms.
I saw your
And I had lunch by myself.
Okay.
And so that's another conversation probably. But I got to eat what I wanted to. And I know that sounds a little selfish at first. I thought like Greek salad and spicy hummus just isn't what the rest of the family's into. So I got to eat it. I got to eat it in peace without hearing how bad it smelled and that kind of stuff. And then I just wandered, touch stuff, read the latest. So that's something I do. I like to know what I'm putting in. Yeah. And sometimes I still decide to put shit in anyway.
Yeah, hard not to.
Oh yeah. I spent like 5 hours in there.
Hey, that's great.
Before-
Jungle Gyms is huge though. So like I bet you didn't
So-
get through all of
That was before I even found my juices because I went to find juices. Yeah. And I'm like, this is crazy. This place is so big.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have what I need.
Okay.
And I got up and wandered some more and it was there. So I feel like that's life sometimes. Like you're just seeking for what you need.
And then you give up. It's
It's easier. So
okay. So what else did you do for your
that was damn near most of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I came home spent out, listened to audiobooks.
I was just about to ask, 'cause I know when you drive, you listen to audiobooks versus music. I was curious what you were listening to.
So yesterday was podcast.
Okay.
It's just making sure I listen to good information versus just the radio, right? So podcast, Andre, I don't remember his last name.
Okay.
So we can plug that in.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show.
But then another book. Well, today is what I started with the book.
What's
The Seat of the Soul. And yes, it is as heavy as it sounds. Yeah. But it's a lot of it feels common, like it feels familiar. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's not really hard to digest. I just feel like sometimes I just need to hit pause and then sit with it and then continue the book, right? So, which I do have the paper book coming too. So I can, pause, sit with it and then come back, right? And reflect. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just different. So I shared some tidbits with you about yesterday's, right? What's that with you on that? What I shared.
So the fear stuff, I feel like that's been a common theme for a while. When we were chatting before we even started recording, I was telling you about awareness around me and my stuff, and then you were like, aha, this is something that's been actually a theme lately.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a good starting point for today's topic. It's fear.
Love versus fear.
Versus fear.
Yeah. So all the things could be boiled down to either love or fear. Yeah. It's a simple thing to understand inwardly, but it's a tricky thing to teach and express outwardly.
Right, like the articulation behind like the explanation of what that actually means, because it's an emotion, and how do you accurately describe an emotion? Yes, we have the emotion chart. Like we can filter, okay, anger manifests to frustration and anxiety, like all those things in that. But how do you really like define that feeling? In my experience with having this awareness of, I would not have put fear in the forefront of like that. Yeah, the emotion until you brought it up.
And then I've always associated it with everything coming back to frustration, right? So if I have my feelings hurt, it used to be that led to frustration or went back to frustration with lack of being understood. But it could also be reworded. It's the fear of being misunderstood, right? So I don't know. Some things, when you guys see me get quiet here, I'm often thinking deeper about the last couple sentences.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've noticed that.
Oh yeah, I can always see your
I'm like, I'm like just breaking apart pieces of things and for that deeper understanding. And not just understanding, right? But like understanding.
like physically understanding.
Yeah. Like your body hurts.
Yeah, because like our minds know, but our body knows it's the same thing, but differently than our mind does.
So,
and trying to,
our soul knows.
Yeah.
Right? Versus just our body.
Yeah.
It's almost like one of the authors of a book I was reading described it as a walkie-talkie between the body and the soul. And I'm like, that was different. Yes, please. And some more aha moments that I'm putting together this week. This week has been huge. We've got a lot of good this week, a lot of awareness this week with the help of some friends.
I think that's worth noting too, because if we can link that contact information, even for us to allow us to get people contacted with those people to get what we're about to explain, I think it's so beneficial.
I'm not even sure I can explain it all the way. Like I can baseline, but we digest things differently. So we're talking about cleanses, about energetic cleanses.
Yeah.
We both had an energetic cleanse, and then we did an energetic cleanse on the business, right?
So separately as individuals, and then as a business,
As a whole, the way I like to digest and filter some of those things. Yes, it's important to pull out the pieces, like the light bulb moments of those for me, for confirmation, right? So we know, like, this is the thing, this is what's happening, that kind of thing. But then I like to just leave the rest of it, right? But Karlie took time to like break down each section and then make notes.
Yeah. I am a worm for like researching all the things and then also analyzing all of the little things within that, right? So when I got my report, it was a pretty hefty like packet. When I got mine, I sat there, I was listening to my podcast actually. When I got it, I was like, "Nope," and I paused it and I started reading each section, and anything that popped in my head, like right off the bat as I was reading, I would write that down. And I would write down like it's not this is my physical feeling. So like there was one section where I got emotional. There was another section where my hands started to tingle the same way they tingle when I go into meditation, which I thought was interesting. And Reiki. So yeah, and then since then, leaving those notes there and moving forward as these awarenesses almost daily happening now. It's like, oh, okay.
How's your sleep? Are still good?
Yeah.
Can't make that shit up.
I know. So this is probably going to be another podcast, but in it's talking about portals.
Yeah.
I had no idea what those were, honestly, until I read that. I was like, oh, okay. And apparently I had this portal that's been in my bedroom, like following me around like my whole life because I've had sleeping issues and insomnia like my whole life. Apparently it's not really insomnia. It goes back to how much anger has been passed down my bloodline. And that manifests into me not being able to shut off. And that's where this portal has come in.
So you guys already know, like I struggle sometimes with articulation because there's just things that you know and know, but it's hard to share.
Yeah.
But I've got the verbiage around a portal. It's an energetic block.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's other definitions of that too. But for this conversation, it's an energetic block. So it was just sucking and sucking and sucking.
And I have read that portals can be positive, it can be negative.
Yes.
And because you know me, I didn't know, and I have to research. What I found was when we do like altar work or things like that, that is us opening a portal positively because we're channeling energy, right? But then there's also the negative portals that manifest and happen because of trauma or things that have been passed down through bloodline or ancestral or lives.
Situation.
Yeah.
I cannot go into that a whole lot today because it involves other individuals. So that's not fair for me to talk about.
No.
But
in the moment of being angry,
yes,
you created a portal.
Yes.
And that showed up in your
and disturbed my own energy bodies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's so fucking much.
I know that I feel like almost every section in our readings could be a different podcast because you can go in so much detail with it.
And then it stems off like those star bubbles, all the other things that we're learning. Right.
For the sake of today.
Okay. Going back to the conversation.
Yes. The fear, I think, would be good to type both of those together because where we experienced anger and like anger showed up in both our cleanses, that for me spoke pretty profoundly of like how much like our emotions like impact that and then the like impact our energy around us and the people around us. And then also knowing that fear is almost the real root cause of that anger.
I don't even think it's just us experiencing fear. Sometimes I also believe when it's witnessing others experience things. Because remember, if we're not careful, we take that in, we take that on, we claim it as ours. Which we do know pretty good hygiene about, like, oh, that's not mine.
Yeah.
Scoot, scoot, or whatever.
On your children. So, for example, my mom is a very nervous, she really is, though. So when I was, a toddler, and I would be climbing on things and jumping off the back of the couch and like exploring, doing all the things that a toddler would, she would clench up and she would be like, oh my gosh, it's fearfully reacting to me exploring like a child would. That impacted how I grew up, knowing that anything unsafe, anything that could hurt me and my self-preservation, I could never do. So I never learned how to swim. I was scared of water. I didn't climb for the longest time, travel. My mom to this day, she's pushing her 50s, and she will not get in there. But me, I've been on 5 airplanes in the last month, right? So putting that fear on other people as a byproduct, right? Byproduct. I'm missing the words to tie this together. It's charades today. It's just charades day. So that greatly impacts the rest of your life, right? So now I'm in the season of like unlearning a lot of things and turning into a person that isn't scared to do things, letting go of all that anxiety that I took in from other people because of their fears. And like, there's other outside influences on that, right? But it wasn't just my mom. I want to say that. It wasn't just my but in my thing, it talked about bloodline and how that anger manifested because of what was passed down in my bloodline and my ancestral, stuff. And knowing knowing now that all of that anger and fear was never mine. Yeah. And letting that go and like, no, I'm not.
How's Weston sleeping?
Perfect. We haven't had, it's been probably a week and we haven't had
So-
any tears.
When he was having those episodes, what was that creating?
Frustration
And
fear. Yeah. Frustration, fear, lack of tired. And then because you are not sleeping, you're more tired and it just gets worse and worse and worse, which manifests in the energies around you. So this clearing not only cleared that portal in my room, but cleared out the whole house. So I'm like, I don't have a problem falling asleep anymore. I don't have a problem staying asleep. I don't even care if Daniel's alarm go off before I get. That's all that.
so
Yeah.
since then, your spiritualness ties into physical hygiene. Has that shifted?
Yes. I feel like I am a lot more in my practices at home. I feel like I am seeing like time and space is really weird for us. Like,
Yeah.
but
So I feel like it's getting more weird for you.
it really is.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like before, like 2 weeks ago, your time and space was just fine.
yeah, and now I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm like, so
That's
yeah,
just-
so like it was like 7 o'clock yesterday, and I was like, why don't we go take Weston outside to play? It's almost bedtime. We have an hour before we put him down. Why can't you go outside for 30 minutes and play? Get him exercise. God, like let's just go outside. And he goes, you know what, you're right. And so like before, it's supposed to, so I'm like, what's the matter? Yeah, what's the matter now? I don't know.
Well, because the fear of him not sleeping is right.
Yeah.
So not saying that he still won't have sleepless nights, but the fear of him not sleeping is fun. And then physically, in your physical body, how has that changed?
I don't have that heavy feeling in my chest anymore. Like the all of anxiety that manifests, it's there for hours and after the fact, gone. I don't get flushed in the face anymore around like competition or anything like that. It's weird. Like it is why. Yeah. And I keep saying weird. And usually when we think of weird, we think of like off and like, but it's a weird in such a good way.
It's not your usual.
Right. It's not familiar.
But it's a good usual.
Yeah.
It's a good.
So I'm very excited about this like leaf that was turned over.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see like what else is going to happen moving forward.
I feel like, and maybe I need to go back and look at the astrological events of the last week as well.
Oh, I'll check that. Go ahead.
Okay. Because I feel like, there were shifts happening before the cleanse, but the cleanse really helped us finish up.
I pushed it earlier last week. So before the cleanse happened earlier, remember me telling you how I just felt so exhausted and how I felt like I can't get enough sleep from my understanding.
So I was going through that too. Like
Yeah.
I slept a lot, and I thought it was just because Jenny was here. And if
Yeah.
Jenny was sleeping, then I was sleeping.
Yeah.
Like when you do the babies.
Yeah. Well, see, I thought it was just me too. So I checked in with a couple of our friends, and 3 of them
Okay.
all felt the same, draining and exhaustion.
So we knew that Mercury was doing something.
Nope,
weird.
it
Something
wasn't.
else.
Neptune went into
Okay.
retrograde.
Wow.
And Neptune is all about releasing and letting go. And it's also about taking, it doesn't let us like keep pushing ahead. It really makes us stay stagnant and
Be
rest.
still.
And that's where that exhaustion was coming from. It was literally making us rest.
So Neptune in retrograde has the sit down, shut up energy. Got it. I'll note that for later.
Yeah. Because it wasn't making sense to me. Like, oh, it's probably just like Mercury in the microwave again.
And so now I noticed the difference though with this rest. I was okay with it. Like I would normally be guilty about resting and not, I mean, it's, you know, it changed over the last couple of years, but even still, while I was at home resting with Jenny, I would be thinking about being here.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, forget this. And I'm just passed out again.
Yeah.
Like, day in, day out.
Yeah.
It's just passing out. It's amazing. So I'm glad you guys.
Yeah. But I was like, when I didn't know that Neptune was retrograde before, I was starting to get actually like not concerned, but like pissy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have so much energy, like motivation to do stuff. Like I want to get X, Y, Z done. I want to go do this with my family and like all the things. But my physical body was not allowing it.
It was just heavy.
Yes.
Felt like a sandbag. I don't know.
I felt like how you do when you get out of like a body of water
Yeah.
and you just feel so weighted down.
Right.
That's how I felt. I was like, I feel like I'm trying to walk out of the ocean onto the beach and it's like dragging my feet through the sand, you know? And I was getting so angry. But then like once I figured out what was going on,
I was eating less as well. I was eating and drinking less. Maybe I just didn't need it from all the naps.
yeah,
You know, so
I can't really say if I was effective at that or not because I had
oh yeah.
the removal. So I was like,
She wasn't eating or drinking anyway.
yeah, I have my wisdom teeth taken out. So I'm like, I'm still kind of recovering from it. But I'm eating a little normally, not just broth and mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't know if my appetite or anything really affected it.
Your awareness around your appetite or around what you have been choosing to eat is different as well. Because you mentioned that today. You said that you chose more protein heavy, more sustainable foods. It's gonna sit with you a little bit longer.
Right.
It's odd.
There's so many shit. I know. There's so many shit.
You're doing protein heavy.
And you're getting away from
And then today is my first day fasting from meat. And that was hard.
yeah.
I really wanted that breakfast sandwich.
I know you do.
It's so hard. When people don't understand how food can be an addiction to, that kind of frustrates me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that the other day. Just a very small, like,
Yeah.
in and out type thought. And I was like, man, if that wasn't or like take it seriously, like food addiction, like any other hard drug or alcohol addiction, it's like
It's crazy that there's two things that we don't have to justify doing. Like we don't have to justify having a drink. We don't have to justify having a piece of cake. When it comes to the street drugs, like those are for anyone.
yeah.
But
Do you have anything else you would add about the fear?
it changes for me. It's changed the way I view compassion. So
Elaborate that more. Sounds interesting.
because now when I'm willing to now when I'm willing to have conversations or be in situations that would normally create fear and nervousness, since that emotion is gone, there is a freedom for other positive emotions.
Yeah. I think it also helps take out like I don't want to say our emotion out of this conversation, but I feel like it allows us to be more articulate and like analytical a little bit. It will but kind of like not fuel our responses based off their emotion. Does that make sense?
Yes, but me, because that was a thought. There was some kind of release with that as well. When I'm letting go of fear in a conversation, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of being judged, those kind of things, it feels like I have more energy to feed relationships on a positive level. Sometimes when there's that fear attached, when you let that feed in to the other person. So how do I explain that? If you're coming to me with a problem out of fear, and I'm accepting that, then I'm spinning my wheels, trying to help you find solution or justification.
You almost take on their panic. So it kind of goes back to wanting something more than the person actually feeling it. right?
Right.
So because now you're feeling that emotion, and now you are feeling like you are almost affected by this. So how
Like
can
it's your thing.
like it is your problem? So letting that fear go, and in these conversations, so by
It's gonna sound shitty at first.
yeah,
I'm entertaining less fearful conversations. So we had an individual here a couple days ago, and typically this individual we wouldn't want to chat with
engagement.
because they typically was one of the individuals that would create that fear of escalated conversation, misunderstanding intentionally, like they were not putting blame. Yeah, it was just it was different. But this week when that happened, I listened, I could entertain.
Yeah, we answer what we needed to, the way we needed to do it, and knowing that what their emotion was being brought in was not our emotion. It's being truly disconnected.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean we don't give a shit because we do still care about people, but it's differently. And I feel because it's differently, we have even more energetic love to share. Love doesn't always just mean like, embracing or romantic love, that kind of stuff. Like, I think,
No, I don't know. It's almost like you have to be a humanitarian to love collectively. I feel like that's the type of love we're talking about. Is loving collectively.
without judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment. So being able to see a situation, respect the situation without judgment, that's definitely something that has evolved over time.
I also want to add this little thought nugget just popped up is by us letting go of fear in these types of conversations, we are no longer allowing our piece of ourselves to stay or the piece of that to stay with us. We are truly able to just remove.
Yeah.
We're not dwelling, we're not continuously thinking about it, we're not analyzing the conversation over and over again. A trauma response would be.
That's been going on for quite some time. It's not until recently when that was then put into words, but like, not my business, not my energy. Reminding myself that it truly is. It's not my business. It's not my energy. And you get to choose that. You get to choose what is your business. To some extent, right? You can make anything your business.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that concept of fear versus love really is impactful with a lot of the things that are going on right now, and like it really resonates with a lot of themes that like the shift in both of your journey separately and my journey separately, and even our journeys together. Like it's just wow.
I've had a Reiki reading or a Reiki session.
Yeah.
And I won't tell you because that's, by like privacy things, but it was a blanket of love, right? So in this, not only could I see her creating a blanket of love for herself, I saw her quilting little like quilt squares.
Yeah.
So blankets of love and just throwing them out the car window. Oh. Right. So I just giggled. In that same session, there was guidance of ownership of self, right? And there was mention of like, it felt like this pull of, that this individual was trying to love someone repeatedly without being able to. So it was a lot about self-love,
Yeah.
So if you ask yourself that question, who in your life are you continuing to try to love and they just won't let you? Like, who is that for you? Maybe you just continue to love them anyway. You continue to love, pieces of their surrounding their environment. So whether they're kids or their parents or whatever, and by result, they will be loved as well. But that's a blanket of love.
The things that we learn as practitioners in session with clients is never ceases to amaze me.
And this individual is one of my favorite people. Non-judgmentally, right, would never think that she isn't doing that already. It's just a different freedom. Sometimes you just gotta be reminded, reminded through the things. Yeah. Okay. But anyway.
Well, I think that is a good message, a good kind of awareness for the people to kind of like accept and pick apart and try to resonate with this week. What do you think?
Yeah, it is. I just want to remind you that whatever you put out there is what you get back, not just karmically, but if you spend your time in disgust or distaste or hate, I don't love that word, but and then the moment you put that out into the energetic body, however you want to word that, universe, then it's going to touch you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very interesting that you said that, because I was listening to a podcast on the main today, and they were talking about how basically the words you say and the actions you do really paints your life. You know, and we've talked about that before. If you guys are interested in listening to that, it's the most recent podcast by ARW-RIR Society. I think episode 1 or 2. Shout out Gary. So it was quite interesting that you brought that up, because I was like, Lindsay was just talking about that. Like,
For years, I was reading, and I'll continue to listen to this book repeatedly over the next year as well. But it was Intentional Living, John Maxwell. Like, you've seen that all over the place, right? So what I've been digging into now is even deeper than just living with intention. It's the energy behind the intention. Like, when I just thought it couldn't go any deeper, following through with good intentions, it starts to pour that.
Yeah.
One fucking thought.
If you're doing
It's like an inception.
Yeah. Like, if you're doing something just to do something, well, it's not going to be. If you're doing something out of spite, well, you're going to probably get shit back. You know? Yeah. All this shit is just so intertwined. My gears turn it now.
Yeah. There's got to be a way to record my thoughts. I know. You know, and they always happen in the most, like,
random time.
Yeah, I was gonna say unhelpful or something like in the shower. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do in your shower? You're gonna jump out and write something down? I guess you could, right?
Yeah. Recorders everywhere. So
yes. I did pull over yesterday and send a message because I need to make note of something that was like I literally just heard like, whoa, you know. So I did pull over.
I just envisioned the little electrodes on you that people put on plants to record their like music and their vibrations. Is that a way we can record our thoughts? Is that a thing?
I think honestly though, in time we will realize. So I just realized it. I mean, that's just what you right? And that a lot of that's not our fault, right? I feel like in some of those moments of deeper messages that perhaps we're channeling. Because it is when I'm in that meditative state. So my showers are very cleansing, very meditative for me. Yeah. Driving has always been meditative for me. Those things when your hands are busy, right? When your hands are busy, but your mind is not. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I feel like in time when we embrace, when I embrace those moments of channeling and start doing some automatic writing.
I would love to read some of those notes. Maybe.
Yeah. If you could read them. Because, I mean, typically when people do the automatic writing, it's kind of messy anyway.
Yeah.
And my writing is messy without being in trance or in that meditative state. Yeah. So who's to say? Because I do often realize, like, some of those thoughts are like, where would that come from? You know, I'm not saying that I'm not smart.
Yeah, like off the wall, like that was me.
Like, what the fuck was that, right? Okay. What else?
I really think that's it.
I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think so. Because we've gone little jumps into all these other like rabbit holes already, and I don't want to keep diving and so flash people.
We can edit the next part out. But I guess you want to close? Yeah. I mean, maybe that's the close. Yeah. We'll see when we see it. Whatever. Yeah,
we'll see when we see you guys.
Have fun, y'all.
Bye.